Hi YouTube, welcome to my channel. It's Ebony. In this video, I'll be presenting a speech for Toastmasters out of the Facilitating Discussion Manual. This is an advanced communication series manual, and this speech is typically 22 to 32 minutes. I took the short route and did the speech in about 15 minutes. The project is project number 4, Handling Challenging Situations. And it was really cool to do this speech. It involved audience participation. I had one person play the role of the talker, another person as the interrupter, another person as the chatterer, another person as the arguer, and the last person as the silent type. Now, we all have dealt with these type of people when we're having conversations, so it's my job as a facilitator to manage the conflict and to get to the point. We talked about how to make our local schools better. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching too.
Ads about our school, which caused concern with me. Some of the things that we heard through ads, or we just may know as far as being citizens of the state, are some of these facts. Now, these are just things that I've researched about North Carolina schools, but I'd like to discuss.
See, now right here, when I look down, I can tell I didn't prepare well enough. I should be always looking at the audience and know my material.
North Carolina currently has an improving rate of graduates in high school. It looks like we're at an 80% range of graduates, right? North Carolina also has a lower rate of teen pregnancy for their high schoolers. And the state is working to hire experienced new teachers to sustain those numbers. On the flip side, we also hear things about North Carolina schools as far as opportunities with teachers. Some of you may have been aware of when the teachers went to Raleigh back in March. Also, we know that North Carolina has a ranking amongst other states, and we are in the lower tier. For 2018, we're at the 34th spot. So with that said, I'd like to talk a little bit about this problem that I believe most people feel we have in North Carolina. How can we make our local schools better? And I want everyone to feel safe to talk. This is just a discussion. I'm going to jot down some of the feedback that I received. But if you just think about your local neighborhood, you probably have an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. If you could do something to change and to make it even better, what would you do? Any suggestions from the group? What would you do to make your local schools better? And if they are good, what are some things that we should continue to do?
But I think that we still have a ways to go. You're still having a high level of turnover in the public schools. A lot of you even have some states, Texas for one, advertising here in North Carolina, say come to Texas and teach. We pay you X amount higher, and we're losing. So you're going to continue going on with 1 to 5 year tenure if you can't keep the more experienced teachers who are moving out of state or maybe even to a different school system within the state. But the biggest thing is if they're able to move, they might move to a different state. I think we've got to pay a competitive rate. Being number 34 is not competitive.
How do we keep our top talent, right? Without them leaving, right? I agree. That's a good
It's not all money, but it's a big part of it's money if you don't go to Raleigh at one of these.
Yeah. So getting the money, equal pay, competitive pay, so that our top talent will stay. All right, I have that one down, and I also have down trying to reduce the turnover rate for teachers. Any other suggestions from the group? Lorenzo, you're smiling at me. Are you thinking about something?
I listen to a lot of talk radio, so this is where I'm getting this from. I really don't follow much our local schools, but I have heard that they're teaching less history. So I would like schools to focus a little bit more about history and not take certain things out and put a little bit more progressive stuff in there. So I think going back to some of the basics would do some good for
It's
the
interesting.
education.
It's interesting that you say that, Lorenzo, because I'm aware that a lot of the arts have been taken out of schools. I know when I grew up and was in school, I played the trumpet. I did that through school. I was in the band. I did a lot of things, and that was elementary. I don't know if they do that anymore for elementary. And now, this is my first time hearing from your standpoint about history. So I know that they have social studies as a topic, right? But are you, and I'm asking you just to explain a little more, are you mean certain aspects of our history that are not taught?
Yeah, just, I guess it's more of a modern history is what they're adapting to now.
Okay.
Memorize the dates so we could just write them down on the test.
Quiz.
And we have no idea what was happening in that era. You know, we didn't learn any true lessons. And unfortunately, in a lot of ways, I think we're doomed to repeat the same things over and over and over again.
Interesting point of view, but yet I actually do agree. Do I have any other feelings? So we've talked about teacher pay. We've talked about turnover.
In this section, I
and we
really
also
should have had a
talked
flip
about,
chart. It would have been really better for everyone to see all of the feedback that was
incorporating
shared.
history, more modern history, understanding the lesson, not just things that are going to be on a quiz, but the feeling, the lessons learned from the event. What else could we do to help to make our schools better? Yeah.
I believe that there's a disconnect in the approach that we are taking in the schools, like where we're directing everybody to college, which is a good ambition. But statistically, not everyone ends up in college. And even those that end up in college don't end up necessarily applying that degree. And yet, what is it? 7 million unfilled jobs are out there right now that are skilled. So I think we need to partner those schools with some of that tech skill, some of those community colleges, some of those associate's degrees, some of those apprenticeships earlier on, and so that students can have those opportunities to start engaging with the workforce or other opportunities there that more realistically reflects where people end up as they come out. Not necessarily take opportunities away, but don't focus strictly on test scores and getting money for the school system so much as preparing people to take care of themselves, right? To get a job, to how to handle their money, how to, versus I just want you to get a good test score so you can get into a college, and then I don't even necessarily help you pick a degree that matches you or helps you be successful. I just want you to get to college. I just want you to get a degree. I don't care what it is. So, you know, focus more kind of on that tech skill and partner, find a way to, this individual student has interest and drive and passion in this direction. We're going to steer him in this direction as opposed to channeling him back over test scores in college,
It's interesting that you say that because I had a similar conversation with a parent, and we talked about how the technical job fields, specifically we were speaking of a plumber, right? And how no one really goes to school and says, you know, in that, you know, high school and says, I want to be a plumber, but how successful plumbers are, and how the job will be here forever. And just training our kids for those technical skills. College doesn't always have to be that next step. So that's a good add.
Right. How many people go to college and then come out and then they're a truck driver, right? They got a college degree in something and now they're a truck driver potentially because they got a degree in something that's not currently marketable.
So how would you translate that into the school? Would you say have technical programs? At what age? Like how would you incorporate that into your local school?
Partnerships with local businesses to establish apprenticeships, working with local industry, whatever the industry is in the area, or even further across the state, and say, you know, what skills are you not able to fill?
Right.
And then, hey, students, we have this opportunity to get you this training that will translate into a job at this factory. And talk about what it takes to run a family, what it takes to take care of a family, and, you know, what insurance, talk about some of these life skills in college, in high school, as opposed to waiting until they have to figure it out on their own, right?
Yeah.
You have a home economics class you took in middle school that was about cooking and things like that, but How many schools have a program that teaches you to balance your checkbook or those kind of things, right? Life skills, not just test scores and getting you ready to, not just something that makes the school look good, but that actually prepares the student to become an adult.
I agree. Thank you.
I disagree with him. I disagree with that.
Explain.
I disagree with that. I think that if you can,
Here we go. We always have one person who disagrees. How do you handle it? I feel like my body language could have been a little bit better. You see how I have my hand on my chin? Yeah, it doesn't give the most positive body language. So definitely an area of opportunity for me there.
and to, to cook for you. You don't need to do it yourself.
So, okay, so I just want to ask a few questions. So his stake was to, hey, let's partner with businesses so kids can learn technical skills. And I understand your point as well, where you're saying you can pay someone to do that. But do we still have a gap? We have a need. We need someone who knows how to do those skills, right? So do you feel like it is important for schools to teach kids who want to do that, to go down that avenue? And where you and maybe your children may go down another avenue, which is the post-secondary schools, college, etc.
Yeah, I guess somebody has to teach them. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the parents involved more. I think parents
Okay.
need to step up and take ownership of some of this. Maybe some of the companies in town can provide scholarships and things like that. But if you don't get discipline at home, if you don't tell the kids they've got to do their homework, know where your kids are at night, make sure they're in a decent hour if it's part of the school week, and I think that we're falling short in that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make you right or wrong,
I think that's a great idea, Larry.
but I think parents are gonna have to step up, put on their big boy britches and help their kids.
A lot of the things we see in the media related to schools, not just North Carolina schools, but just overall, we do see problems happening in schools. And a lot of people, they do blame it on the parents. So you're saying that parent involvement needs to increase, collaboration between the parent, the school, staff, etc. needs to increase to help to make the school better.
Absolutely, starts in the first grade, goes through the 12th and beyond.
I agree. Okay. Do I have any other feedback on how we can make our local school better? Teacher pay, turnover rate, history, some of the opportunities and some of the wins we have in North Carolina. So if I look at some of the opportunities, one I mentioned was that 25% of the state's teachers are in their first 5 years. So Larry, I feel like your feedback, parent involvement, and also the teacher turnover and pay would address that. I do feel like that would happen. So that starts kind of at the Capitol, right? Recognizing and paying our teachers, and also ensuring that they have the support from the parents. I also talked about, as far as our ranking as 34th, and you mentioned about incorporating history, Lorenzo did, incorporating history and incorporating the technical skills and things like that. So maybe that would help us to be more successful in our testing and things like that. Because if it's on things that we're interested in, positions where we want to go, that may help with our ranking, possibly, I don't know. So out of our items that we have listed here, I feel like this list is pretty good for us to move forward and to step into a space of increase in helping for things to get better. So I'll conclude today with saying thank you for your feedback today, first of all. And as you continue to work with your schools and your community, keep the things in mind that we talked about today. Of course, we want things to get better, but it all starts with us having a good discussion and dialogue, and then putting those thoughts into action. Thank you.